Um, we tend to validate physical attraction, that it's okay to fuck somebody because you think they're hot, because they have facial symmetry and they go to the gym, which is very odd to me because hot fades and it's not that important. I chose men over the course of my life based on one thing and one thing only. How well did they treat me? That's it. I don't care if you're hot. I don't care what age. I don't care what height. I don't care what race. How I pick the one who treats me the best. And yes,
it's your boy SOSO Juve, and we in the building. And welcome to another episode of the My 5 Cents podcast. That's what we are. We're a podcast,
That's what
right?
we are.
Yeah, let me go ahead and introduce the cast of characters to my that way. I got HLS.
It's the bitch on line stepper. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, baby?
Oh man, I'm good, man. This weather's got me, but I'm good.
Okay, I'm not sure what that was, but okay, we're gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna go
in my bones.
I'm gonna introduce my person who's down this way, and it's usually the logical genius, but he got sick, so we had to call in the sub. And there's no greater sub than the sub that we are bringing in, and that is Carl King. Welcome, Carl.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to agree with HLS that it is cold. I just got back from Miami about a week ago, and it's like 78. Beach vibes, right?
Yeah, we definitely don't have Miami weather.
Nah, we don't. And that change in temperature for you, Carl?
Yeah.
It's got to be bad.
It's Chicago, yeah. So, man, we're negative 10, I think, today. So you can imagine that's a culture shock, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that for you, Carl. I love that you are freezing over there. Oh my goodness gracious! So we're gonna get into it, and we have a hot topic today. Hot topic, and our topic for today are the 5 worst things to say right after having sex.
What?
And the person that is going to take on this topic is a super smart and wickedly sexy. Her presence in a room instantaneously portrays her class, exclusivity, and discretion. Our guest's sense of humor and generosity of spirit will change your perspective and priorities that will create a sense of joy that will allow you to leave your worries behind. With her modeling service, you can meet a real-life model. Not the blow-up doll that's in HLS's closet, but a real-life model. Build a long-term friendship and perhaps chase a dream you forgot you ever had. Please welcome to the My 5 Cents podcast, Amy Taylor. Welcome.
hey, what's up? How are you guys?
Hey, how are you?
Baby,
So
thanks for joining us.
I thought we were freezing in Manhattan, but no, that's negative temperature. That's negative 10 is not a real temperature. You should just leave.
yeah, right?
Just throw the whole city away.
No, it's too great. It's the second city. Come on.
Last night, I thought it was cold here. Like I went out last night in Midtown and came home and was a little, not drunk, but like a little drunk. And I'm from California and I've only lived here for a year and a half in New York City. And Louboutins and ice and snow do not mix. It was like a new Olympic sport. I was trying to jump from the sidewalk to the street with my dog over the snow and ice in the gutter and not like break my ass. I made it, but it's a whole I understand why people go to the sunny places. The problem is that Chicago and New York are really fun, right? They're fun.
They really are. Yeah, you can't throw them away. They're amazing.
Great cities.
And it's kind of cozy in winter. I think it's sexy to snuggle up with somebody when it's cold outside and hide away somewhere inside. I don't know. It's probably not, but you got to make the best of whatever you're dealing with. So, hey.
100%. And the key part is you have to have someone to snuggle with. So since we're talking about the cold, let's get right into the icebreaker. Amy, what is your superpower and how has it assisted you in your journey?
I'm eternally curious, never happier than when I'm learning anything I don't know about. So, tiny amygdala, that's my superpower, is that I'm completely curious. And how has that served me? It's led to a life that has been, I have had so much fucking fun. It's absurd. maybe too much. And I've also been able to help others, family, friends, loved ones, neighbors. I've been able to do. I have a lot of way too much education, way too many hobbies. I've had a very curious and full life already in my 40s, and I fully intend on continuing to do that until the end.
There we go. So, Amy, I gotta let you know, I'm very curious about you.
Clearly, that's how my publicist introduced us. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I'm curious about your modeling service. What exactly are we talking about here?
Yeah, so the stuff you read, that ad copy, that was written by my attorneys for SEO optimization. So it's like idiotically written. It's for search engines. So like, it's not really, but yeah, I mean, I do model. I do a lot of brand deals. I'm on a lot of magazines. I've been on tons of Playboys and FHMs, I mean, all that's on my socials. And I've done that on and off since I was 14. Because it helped pay for school and was fun. Why not? I got a conventionally attractive face and body for at least another 15 minutes or so. And it's easy. It's not very intellectually interesting. So I always also did other things. But then the thing that people are always interested in is that I've been a high-end companion. So like many women who were good looking and broke, I've dated men who were generous and helped me survive. And that's fairly normal in the world of the wealthy. I mean, even the president's wife, right? He wouldn't be with her if she wasn't gorgeous. She wouldn't be with him if he wasn't rich.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean they're not in love. I mean, they're married with a kid. It's obviously there's love. But it's still complicated as all relationships are. Power imbalances often exist in relationships, whether those are financial or physical beauty or whatever, families. So for some reason, that's really fascinated people, that as a woman who was able to use my looks and my love of romance and men, I really like men and I really like dating. I'm a romantic person. I really am. And so I was able to use that to survive because I like food and shelter.
Yes.
Yeah,
Those basic needs from Maslow, definitely need those.
I mean, look, when I was in college and there was one day where I did not have $20 in the ATM, I did not have enough money to withdraw money to get food. And now, yeah, I could have dropped out of school. All that stuff is true. But poverty will take away all your dignity. There's no dignity in not being able to. So people say there's no dignity in the choices I've made. Well, yeah, there was also no dignity in being evicted and homeless either. So, maybe I should have married one rich guy instead of dating two or three for years, maybe, but that's not what happened. So that tends to interest people. And then, yeah, I mean, it's not obviously them demanding sex is illegal. That would become like prostitution, which is not legal in this country. I think it should be. It is in most of the civilized world. It is not in America, except for one county in Nevada.
Yep.
But nobody I ever knew would have ever said, hey, I helped you pay for grad school, suck my dick. Nobody, maybe they might have wanted to, but nobody would talk to another human being like that. That would be beneath them. Yeah. Nor would I have ever dated so it wasn't. However, everybody who's dating, typically there might be physical stuff involved unless people are not healthy enough or not young enough to do that anymore or for whatever reason. But it was just dating. It was just dating. It was actually, in my opinion, kind of boring, but people seem to be super interested in it.
So I have a follow-up to that because you're talking about dating. And is dating your profession, or do you date and then the modeling service is your profession? Like, how do your boyfriends or past boyfriends, or if you have a current boyfriend, how does he deal with the fact that you have this service?
So at times I've been casually dating more than one person at a time. Like for like 6 or 7 years, I was dating one guy who mostly lived in Latin America, but also lived in America for one of the companies he ran. But it was not, I'm sure he dated other people. I did not care, did not ask, because I didn't see him every single day. And so I also dated somebody else who lived in Los Angeles near me, but both of them, there was no lying. It was just not, nobody was like living together or planning on getting married or any of those things. How do they handle that? I don't think they cared. Neither did I. I never asked. Neither did they. Other times there's been stretches for years where I've been with just one person, and that was what everybody wants. I wanted, he wanted. I got engaged twice. decided not to marry each of them for different reasons. And yeah, so the question, to answer your question, is dating my profession? Well, I did date men who provided for me. So yes, because dating people who provided for me allowed me to pay my bills. But modeling, yeah, like magazine modeling and modeling brand deals and being on a billboard in Times Square, I also do, and that also pays me, and that has nothing to do with dating.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've done lots of things for a living. I went to college. I was a scientist for 2 years after college. I worked for an oil company after my MBA. I am a flight instructor. I've done lots of things to pay my bills. So
interesting.
it depends. I mean, at
As
this
most
point in
people
life,
have, right?
I've had a varied career history, but the fact that I don't know, I guess I had this like gold diggery stank on me, because as soon as I started college a year early. I started college at UC Berkeley when I was 17, and I was candy striping in the ER, and immediately a couple of young doctors liked me. I think that's pretty common for good-looking women, is rich men liked me from the jump.
Sure.
And honestly, I liked them. I remember I was dating a frat boy, and then this doctor offered to take me to Tahiti for a week, and the opera and a restaurant, and the frat boy wouldn't even pay for my breakfast after I fucked him. Who the fuck would you date?
Yeah,
Who would you choose?
Give me the doctor.
And the doctor was
HLS,
also very nice, and he was only 29. He wasn't 90. So I liked him. My sorority sisters were like, ew, he's so old. You're 18 and he's 29. But I didn't care. I didn't think he was gross. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of became a way of surviving financially. I turned something I already liked doing into my job. What they say? If you do something you love, you'll never work a day. in your
Never work a day.
Truth. Now, with that said,
You could do it too.
there's someone in
HLS,
this
the male
podcast
gigolo.
might
There
have
we go.
already-
Or see?
Someone in this podcast might have already, but I don't put people's business in the street.
Oh,
That's what we're doing right now.
oh
That's what
my
we're doing.
God.
I don't put people's business in the street. That's not me. That's not me. But
The
Amy-
amount of shade that's already happened on this podcast.
But Amy, let me ask you this. There's so much stigma to it, right? Like you have people that as you said, it should be legal everywhere. It's only legal in Nevada. People go to Amsterdam and travel for it.
You're talking about prostitution?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody ever had asked me for sex, I would have left. I get 100 emails a day saying, "Can I fuck you for money?" Obviously, none of those people would ever get anywhere near me.
Yeah.
But I do think criminalizing that world does not help those people in it, who tend to be young and poor and some of the most vulnerable people out there.
Agreed. And as you said earlier in the show, everybody's having sex. Why do you think it's so stigmatized?
I think people don't. I don't know if you. Well, I guess we don't like coercion. So the idea that you would sleep with somebody who would not sleep with you unless you paid them is kind of icky to people, right? The idea that they're repulsed by you physically, but they're fucking and sucking you because they need money is not a very delightful idea to people. We tend to validate physical attraction, that it's okay to fuck somebody because you think they're hot, because they have facial symmetry and they go to the gym, which is very odd to me because hot fades and it's not that important. I chose men over the course of my life based on one thing and one thing only. How well did they treat me? That's it. I don't care if you're hot. I don't care what age. I don't care what height. I don't care what race. I pick the one who treats me the best. And yes, sometimes that includes money because restaurants aren't free. So, but it's not just the money. Everybody I ever dated and loved was also very nice to me. I never would have hung out with a jerk just because he was rich. I dumped a zillion jerks who were rich. So I think why stigma? At the low end, street-based truck stop, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of danger there, right?
Yeah.
Why? I would argue it's because it's criminalized. So you get the underground economy, you get a lot of force and abuse. I think men feel a lot of shame in paying for it, and they transfer that shame onto the sex worker. Like, it's your fault. Jezebel that, you know, I hate you even though I want to fuck you, so now I'm going to hurt you, right?
Oh,
Um, well, and we do that to them when we shame it. When we tell men who pay for sex that they're scum for paying for sex, then they can't handle that mentally, so they decide it's her fault and she should die. And that's when you get like serial killers who kill prostitutes because they think they're cleaning up filthy women who should die anyway.
yeah.
Or you get like Eileen Wuornos, women who want to kill tricks because they think all clients are evil men for buying sex, and they go on murder sprees, right? And all that is stigma and shame related.
Mhm.
You're never going to destigmatize sluttiness. Even when it's unpaid sluttiness, we sort of don't like it, right? Nobody wants a run through chick. Nobody wants a guy who's fucked every girl in town. Why don't we like run through? I guess we don't want what everyone can have, right?
That's a theory. That's
Well,
a
'cause
theory.
then you're not special, right? If the person you're dating fucks everybody in town, then you're not special, right? And so it's an ego hit. Like, why would you don't care who you fuck? So that probably means you don't care that much about me, maybe.
Possibly.
And then
You're-
the obvious stuff is like the disease thing, right? I mean, that's a real consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
like you said, I think the biggest part of it is the ego and the shame. Those two components are such motivators of people.
at the high end, I think what makes people very angry is the money. And people have always been jealous of rich men. I've met men who I'm envious of their private jets and their homes that I'll never be anything close to that. I'm jealous. I've seen art in homes that cost more than my net worth will ever be. And that might be because they're just jealous of the men who can have any woman they want, almost. And maybe they're jealous of like the gorgeous Manhattan Russian sugar baby who's got a $50,000 a month penthouse apartment that's paid for by some rich guy, right? That's envy inducing, and we tend not to like that either.
Yeah. I think I find people that are that do work, like whether it be work with the fringes of society. They tend to grapple with the more difficult things that a lot of people skirt away from, and that people kind of tend to run to what's safe and what is societally acceptable. And I think it sounds like you've done a lot of work around trying to understand not just understand people's impulses, understand people's desires, their nature, what makes them afraid, what makes them run towards something. And I think that's some deep work, and that's important.
I mean, I'm eternally curious, like I told you. And also, it's so complicated. For instance, a lot of men in the very wealthy, they can't just marry anybody. They're going to marry the woman whose family is the right family, who has the status, who makes them look appropriate if they're in politics or their family runs nonprofit companies. They can't, or certain castes in India, they cannot just marry whoever. So
they can, but there's an expense.
But they'll lose everything, and
right.
Most people don't want to get cut out of grandpa and grandma's will when they get $1 million a week, right? So, yeah, sure they could, and you do see that. You've seen royalty of England marry and get dropped from the crown, but it's brave. Most people won't do that; they're too chicken shit. Yeah. And so they might marry somebody for status, or they marry somebody who's a great mom, and then they find out she likes to fuck once every 2 months, and he likes to fuck every 3 days. Okay, what do you do now? He either goes without, or he's a rapist, or where she has to fuck where she don't. Well, that's called rape. And then he goes crazy because he gets laid once every 2 months. And meanwhile, or he gets divorced, and now the kids split time and all that, fucks up their kids, or he cheats. And who does he cheat with? Does he have an affair? Does he fall in love? Does he fuck the babysitter or his vice president or the secretary? Does he go to a sex worker? Right. So differing sex drives are a real thing, because not everybody's marriage or relationship has compatible sex drives. Now, who has the right to control the other person's sex drive? We would say rape is illegal, so the man has to do what the woman wants, because we don't like rape, which I think is correct.
Yeah, no, I agree.
To do. Now, ardent feminists would say men do not have the right to say that sex is a need, because you don't die without it. It's not like water or food. But I've had friends where if they don't have sex, they get pretty crazy. So
Yeah, I think men and women. I've seen both.
sure, one of my neighbors, she's hornier than I
Yeah,
ever.
absolutely. Yeah.
She's savage. Good for her.
Yeah, I've seen some that get absolutely like, well, you just need you need a good romp.
We do not all have the same desires or the same.
No, we don't.
And it would be like your spouse saying, "I'm not hungry, so you can't eat," right?
Yeah.
So this is a problem, and we don't talk about sex the way that we don't talk about money because of shame and Puritan whatever. So when we don't talk about things and you shove them down under, you get a lot of drama around them. So yeah, I think aging is a gift. Once everybody hits like 75, 80 and sex is not a big part of their life anymore, they tend to think a lot more clearly, which is a shame that happens so late in life. But obviously biology, the drive to procreate is probably the most important thing there is. So hence all the problems.
You said something that is so simple, but yet so profound. Well, I'm not hungry, so you can't eat. Like that, in the simplest form, makes so much sense. When you apply that to sex, it's so complicated.
It's hard. I mean, there are people who are just jerks, right? Their spouse does everything to try to make the sex work, and they still just cheat a lot. Those people probably should have stayed single. But you talked earlier about societal norms. There's a lot of rewards to joining the gang, right? Like to norming up, joining the Christian religion in this majority Christian for now country. If you live in certain states and you aren't the right religion, you aren't married, you don't have kids, you will not get business deals. You will not get loans. Nobody will like you. Nobody will socialize with you. So much like a gang or a sorority that I was in, you end up becoming similar because there are great rewards. And conversely, they're being deviant, going against the grain costs you a lot in life. It has cost me housing and banking and jobs and friends. And so it's very difficult to not join the gang. Subjugating your own happiness in order, like going hungry in terms of sex, in order to keep the spouse, keep the prestige, keep the job, keep the social norms is what people do. And sometimes eventually they can't stand it anymore, right? Should they be able to? Yeah, well, yes. But there's the world we wish was, and then there's the world that is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct with that piece, and that sounds like a good way to transition to our next segment of our show. See, Amy, we definitely have built your credibility up as an expert in this topic that we're about to discuss next. So, HLS, what is our topic for this week?
The topic, and I love it. I love it. It's the worst things you can say after sex.
So, Amy, what is about to happen next is myself, HLS, and Carl King are going to pitch to you our 5 cents on that topic for today. What is going to happen is you're going to pick what order is going to happen. Then we're going to do a little cross examination, and then you get to decide a victor for the week. Yeah, with that, there is some criteria for judging.
Okay.
So, HLS, please tell Amy what the criteria is for judging.
So, Amy, you kind of broke it down already, right? When you're dating men, you had a criteria, right? It doesn't matter if they're tall or they're short. It matters how they treat you, right? You had criteria in your dating life. For this show, there's none of that.
None.
None. You might choose me because you like my salt and pepper beer. And that's why you choose me as number one.
Oh, my gosh. You might choose me, Amy, because, yeah, we might have a lot more in common than you think.
Ooh.
And you might choose Carl King. Why?
Because I have a microphone.
There you go. It is
completely up to you. But
I mean,
your first decision, Amy, you get to decide who goes first.
I'm going to choose our guest host because he agreed to be a guest for you guys, that's a Menchie thing to do.
Oh, that's so
I'm
cute.
going to choose our guest host because he agreed to be a guest for you guys, that's a Menchie thing to do.
Don't fall for
I
what?
love all of you, but I'm going to choose the guest.
I know what, but we'll get there.
Yeah, Carl, you know how you do it. You know how you do. You've been on the show before. I peeped your game. I peeped it.
Nice. Oh, I got a salt and pepper mustache. That's why she picked. That's what that is.
I do like the salt and pepper. I do.
So am I ready?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Take
Oh
it
my
away.
gosh. Okay, here we go. 5 things you can't say after sex. Number 1, sorry about that. Number 2, can you not?
Oh,
Um,
ouch.
number 3, I wasn't ready.
Oh.
Number 4, where do we leave the tip?
I mean,
And number 5, my mom taught me how to do that.
so good. Just
Okay.
straight to the incest. I like it.
Yes.
Amy, who do you want to hear from next?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay. Amy, true confession, I might have said one of these things before, but I'm not going to tell you which one. And number 5, wow, that was amazing, Sarah. Oh, I mean, Sanaa. Susie? Sam. Sadani.
It's Amy. Amy, come on.
At number 4. Oh, wow, that was. I didn't think it was going to be a climax. I mean, you're so loose, but I was able to do it. I was able to get there. Surprise! Woo, that was good. It was good. And number 2. Oh, don't worry, it'll heal in a few days.
Oh shit.
Sorry, that was number 3. And number 2. It's about time. I was wondering when you're going to wake up.
Oh.
And number 1. Hey, does this look infected?
Is it what?
Does this look infected?
Oh.
And that, Amy, is my 5 cents on the worst things to
Yeah,
say.
which one you said? It better not be the sleeping one, unless that was your.
All right. We need to figure that one out. In
Right.
cross-examination. That's what we need to figure out.
Points
So,
for delivery. Okay.
Amy, this is my 5 cents on the topic of the 5 worst things to say right after sex. And mine are more practical, like, hey, this could actually be said and like be hurtful. And at number 5, I have, should you call an Uber or should I?
Oh shit.
At number 4, can you pass me the remote? At number 3, I'm sorry, I usually last longer than this. At number 2, did you come?
Oh no.
And at number 1, you remind me of my mom so much.
Oh, ew.
Horrible.
And that's my 5 cents on the topic. What's going to happen next, Amy? Next week, we're going to go through a little bit of cross-examination where we get to poke a little bit of holes in each other's lists, and then you have the ultimate decision in deciding who is our champion for the week. So until next week, this is our 5 cents.